Okay, in the previous part, we explored the rest of the map, and we killed a sea giant, did some fighting. And at this point, I am going to turn my attention over to the last and, the final quest, which is to go to the cave to the north and awaken the Pillars of Garendall. If I were building this character up, what I would do is just put in some hours going back and forth between here and the coast, and just fighting sea giants and minotaurs until I got more and more money and strength, until I got enough strength to easily kill them. But as I am not interested in doing that here, we will just go to the north. Before entering that citadel to High Garendall, I'll probably equip my undead protection, because I can get 95% undead protection if I include the shield, which is pretty good. So see, this is 95% undead, 50 mind, and if I actually put on Helden's hat, I'll have 100% mind protection. So those attacks from the mind hunters won't do anything. But since there's no mind hunters around here, whoops, I will put on my armor again. This is a good place for leveling, because these dark spirits are worth so much. And with 95% protection, they can't do much to you. Should be quite a concentration up around this cave. I may do that one more time. I'd like to get this character one more level before finishing. And this will get me close enough that I will certainly get it. Okay, that's pretty good. Let us venture into the cave. Okay, there are regular monsters here, so I'm going to switch back to my shield, my full plate, and my ring. Looks pretty good. This is the way down. So on we go. That is the way we came in. Okay. There we go. We have leveled up. 240 hit points. They have a pretty good drop rate on those scythes. Sounds like 2 more minutes down here. Another stairway down. So this is also a very deep cave. should be getting pretty near the end down here. Alright, so there's some Death Knights coming up. I will equip for Undead Battle. Maybe that Ring of Luck has been pretty good after all, because that looks like some sort of elixir. These guys have pretty good drops, I guess. In Concoction. Filter of Healing, it's not an elixir. I don't know what this guy's stuck on, but we'll just kill him. Should be... They're definitely around here somewhere. Or maybe there's more in the cavern head. Mind hunters down here, I forgot that. I can put my Helden hat to good use now. These mind hunters will not pose any threat. Minotaurs still do, and with my reduced armor he can do more damage to me. But because I have the same sword, I can still do enough damage to him to not really have to worry about it. So which is the way on? Or Potion of Perception. Not that we're using ranged attacks. But that's pretty good. We've really built up a character. Apparently we've become one of the strongest warriors in the kingdom during this invasion. So there is the giant gate that traps the Guardian, and you need to have the crest in order to open it. I'm not going to go into it. I am going to equip my usual gear first. Our shield, our hat, and our ring. So our armor will be back up. Yeah, our stats are pretty decent. And I will save here. That's likely to be the last save of the game. And we have the pressed, it should allow us to unlock the gate. And now we go. You are now standing in the Guardian Chamber that Oribus told you about. It is now time to prove your valor for the glory of Garendall. We have to go fight this guy that's going to appear up here. Fun fact, he's actually weaker than sea giants. And we've already killed a sea giant, so I'm not anticipating big problems. I'm going to explore his area a little bit. The main difference he has with sea giants is different attacks. So he occasionally shoots you with lightning overhead, and he flings those swords at us. But we can't leave the chamber. We are trapped in here with him. Yeah, he has a faster attack, and he has those lightning and flying swords who give him ranged attacks. Other than that, I don't find him particularly bad. If you have healing, you can pretty much handle him. Let's use a filter, I guess. In a moment, I think he retreats and starts shooting lightning at us again. Throwing those annoying swords. I still question why they made these guardians in the first place. That is his most effective attack, that lightning, to be sure. I think it's safe to say their assumption was that most people are just going to run around, find the stuff for the shield, and finish the game. I like to explore all the corners and nooks and secrets of games, so I almost always build my character up to the point where this isn't a very bad fight. And this character isn't even built up particularly. We don't have a Ring of Gods, for instance. Alright, this is his whole chamber, but a big hole has opened in the floor. If you save your game now, not only will no guardians spawn, but there will be no hole in the floor. So your character will forever be trapped in this empty chamber. So it's not a good idea to save here. You have to save before entering, kill the guardian, and then this hole will open. But let us go into it. We're in this entirely enclosed chamber now at the base of the mountain. Let's go see what's up ahead. We should come across the giant's foot. And what you'll notice is that the pinky toe, the little toe, is missing its nail. And as it happens, this shield was actually made from the pinky toenail of Brutus. So we have it in our inventory, we can just walk up. The scale doesn't look quite right to me still, but anyways, let's finish the game. Climbing up on a nearby rock, you insert the legendary shield Malakara into the gigantic toenail. Even after many centuries, the shield still fits almost perfectly into place, leaving a very thin crack. The shield seems to merge with the stone, becoming part of the giant. You just take a few steps backward before hearing faint creaks. The sound is almost inaudible, though not for long. The creaking grows louder and louder. Something is going on. The sight of thousands of cracks growing up along the toe and the foot seem to hypnotize you. With a terrible sound, the shield splits in two, bringing you out of a daze. You are just about to run when you realize that the magician is standing right behind you. It takes you only a second to notice his calmness, as if nothing can touch him. In a peaceful tone, he tells you, "Follow me. We do not have a lot of time before they awaken. If we stay here, we'll be trapped forever within 100 tons of rock on our heads." Sounds like running is a good idea. You barely take 2 steps when a bright light completely blinds you. It is suddenly much hotter, and you have a hard time keeping your balance as the ground begins to tremble and shake. As you gradually regain your sight, you realize that you are on top of a green hill, quite a ways from the mountain where the giants have begun to shake off their long slumber. As they leave what should have been their eternal prison, they cause an earthquake, which is probably felt in Fantrima and maybe as far away as the mountains of Avonry. The large peak where the city of High Garendall rested, held up by the giants for over 500 years, was suddenly forced to deal with the law of gravity. With a heavy groan, the ruins of the ancient capital crumble gracefully before your eyes. Minutes pass, and while the sky is being filled with a thick cloud of dust that blocks your view, the vibrations slowly die away. "They will come here. Be humble," says Oribus, just then reminding you of his presence. "We are on the Hill of Giants, the sacred place where giants and humans meet. It is one of the only places where it is possible to be at the right height to speak so that they can hear us. Thank you for your help in regaining my powers," he tells you in a rather emotionless tone of voice, though you think you saw a discreet smile. You suddenly feel your throat go dry. Outlined in the mist, 2 enormous humanoids stride towards you, their huge legs covering the distance in mere minutes. The ground begins to shake anew. They are now only a couple meters away from you, and you begin to feel very frightened. You are paralyzed with terror and awe. Your knees collapse under your weight. Even at this distance on top of this hill, you have to lift your eyes towards the cloud to meet their stares. There is simply no way to put into words their immensity. You are speechless. Oribus. "Peace and serenity to you, keepers of the land." A cavernous voice, humid and warm, washes over you, giant female. "Peace and serenity to you, young Archmage Oribus." The other giant nods slowly and deeply. Their words as well as their gestures are performed with unhurriedly fluidity. Oribus. "Not to offend, but I don't think the young is quite appropriate. It has been exactly 514 years and 67 days since we last spoke. I hope that your nap has been restful." Without saying a word, the 2 giants turn to each other. Time seems to stop as they stare at each other, seeming to speak without saying a single word. They turn back towards you. "Peace and prosperity to you, young Cythera guides. We are Kittrick and Brutus, eyes of the world, called by humans keepers of the land. Whatever kind of help you need, we believe that we gave enough of ourselves to your kingdom. We will leave your lands as soon as possible to accomplish great tasks that are probably beyond the realm of human understanding. Please take no offense at this." Now we have a chance to respond here. It absolutely does not matter what we say. If you say something mean, it just flips over to Oribus interjecting and saying the thing. So I will just say the nice thing. "I recognize the incredible sacrifice you've made for our people, but I still think you are indebted to the kingdom." The 2 giants seem puzzled. Again, they look at each other a short time before turning back to you. You continue. 98 years after the ritual sacrifices, the child of yours, Ippotus, came back to the territory and found his parents transformed into statues. Frustrated, thinking his parents had been placed there without his consent, he destroyed the great capital of High Garendall. In his fury, he also killed half the population, and many more died after. Since then, the road has been cut to the north, and the orders have ceased to exist. Now all the beasts of darkness overrun our territory freely, and the people live one disaster after another." The giants seem thoughtful. Looking straight at you, Kittrick continues, "We agree that what is happening is really hard for you and all the inhabitants of Garendall, but we have already interfered too much in the destiny of these lands. In an elf's lifetime we should not appear more than once. In Oribus' life we have already twice played a part in his history, and it is too much." "But," Oribus interrupts the conversation, "noble ancestors of the land, please, I agree that you are not responsible for the disastrous catastrophe that befell the capital of miracles. We cannot put the blame on your child either. It is just like an infant to act in anger in a moment of distress, but we are here to beg for your help. We need you one more time, but not only do I have need, I also have something interesting for you." They stop as Oribus begins to speak. He continues, "Information. I know where your offspring is. He's not on the Twin Sister Island anymore. Please, we need you. I'm sure Ipetus is on a deserted island in the ocean, far to the east. I saw him leave that way after the destruction of High Garendall. I imagine the first thing you want to do is find him, so I hope this information I'm giving you is helpful enough to reconsider our asking, and enough to forgive the impetuosity of the youth of my friend." Both giants look at each other again. Time slows as they look deep into each other's eyes. Then they look at you and nod hesitantly. With all the energy you have left after this incredible endless day, you tell them the whole story you just lived, the massive attack from the huge creatures, the resistance inside the castle walls, the queen and your escape, the fantastic epic adventure you just experienced in order to wake these two stony legends. You converse with them until your patience is completely overwhelmed. After 1,000 questions, 2,000 comments, and one good night's sleep, you are finally moving towards Gadolin Keep. From high up in the hands of Brutus, your perception of the world is very different. Carried by the giants, you and Oribus speed in the direction of Gadolin Keep and will arrive shortly. Following the river Tyros, you can easily see the camp of lumberjacks, the learning tree, and Fantrima, who is still sleeping this early in the day. As you approach Gadolin Keep, you meet some of the evil giants and their bloodthirsty companions. At the sight of you, they all run madly every which way. In a heartbeat, you see a group of 8 being crushed like leaves under the powerful blows of your 2 friends. Their goal seems to make the enemy flee more than to destroy them savagely. Finally, they put you down on the ground in a safe place. Your native city is a little bit further, and seems to have columns of smoke rising from many places. You hope you're not too late. The sound of their steps slowly dies away in the distance as a horrible howling grows progressively louder and louder from the way they are moving. Again, without you having noticed anything, Oribus has disappeared from your side. You cannot just wait here alone, feeling useless. As you slowly make your way towards, and eventually into, the devastated city, no beast looks your way more than once while fleeing. Only a couple of minutes were needed in order for the guards and citizens to understand that they were on the edge of freedom. In the castle, the bells ring out the people's joy, and hurrahs echo throughout the city. Ponderously, the gigantic drawbridge is lowered towards the crush of townspeople. The guards charge out of the castle by horse and on foot, rage in their eyes, and a need to take a swing at the already fleeing monsters. The chase begins. At the end of the day, the city is completely free, and you are now helping the guards bring the last huge corpses to the pyre that will probably burn for at least a week. As you are doing this, you see the 2 giants Brutus and Kittrick going around the city to drive out the ones who have taken shelter in the forest. It is true, sea giants are pretty small compared to those 2. 3 days pass before you find yourself standing once more before the court and the Queen Ariana. There was much to be done. You are now kneeling in front of her, and a crowd of lords and many soldiers surround you. Queen Ariana. Greetings, riding master. On this day, be cheered in Gadolin Keep. To the entire kingdom you are a hero. I give you praise as befits a lord, and welcome you as my friend. Your name will have a place in the chronicles of time as one of the bravest men the kingdom of Garendall has seen in 7 centuries. In the name of our ancestors, we thank you. You have saved us from doom. You have restored life to our people and hope in our hearts. You did a lot more than that. What you did unknowingly is of the greatest importance, even if you do not know what it is. The Archmage Oribus came to me and explained to me a number of things. He told me that your fantastic adventures, about how you found him, how you discovered the shield and the other teeth, and most of all, how you reversed the ritual of sacrifices, awakening the Pillars of Garendall. They are now chasing what is left of the evil tyrants. The ancient city has been completely destroyed, but at the same time, it created an earthquake that reopened the road to the mountains of Avonry, to the Northern Territories. This is an unexpected miracle. It means we'll finally be able to touch the rest of the world. It means the return of magicians who in the past were there to protect people. It's just wonderful. Everything will be better. The Queen stands up from her throne and shouts with strength and enthusiasm, "Glory and victory to Garendall!" Now everyone in the court joins her. They repeat the cry again and again, laughing and dancing all the while. "Glory and victory to Garendall! Be at ease in the castle, take a long rest. When you've relaxed enough, I have another great mission for you." 1 month later, you never saw the two giant saviors again. They did what they had to do, then they left. The city is already being rebuilt. There is much work to do. You are on the road again. Here in the mountains, the road will have to be restored for merchants and their carts. The path is easy to follow, but still obstructed with rocks. This time you have your horse, an escort, a tent, and everything else needed to travel comfortably. You have been named Emissary of Garendall. Since the road to the north is open, all hope is directed far over the mountains. Your new quest given to you by the Queen is simple and clear this time. Go meet all the great lords of the north. Tell them we are still here. Tell them that in a year they are invited to our new kingdom to celebrate our freedom and expansion, and to forge trade agreements. Find blacksmiths who have the knowledge of forging adamantine, and tell them that they should come here because our mines are full of it. You will meet the Archmage on the road. He is waiting for you. Follow him and be my spokesperson before the orders. We need them, and are ready to welcome them as kings. Now go and tell the world about the glory and victory of Garendall. The end. Thank you for playing Pillars of Garendall. And after that closing scene, it takes us to the credits here, with the Beanox people and the Ambrosia people. And that is the end of Pillars of Garendall. It is a very long game in terms of amount of playtime. I mean, the world is so big you could just spend hours and hours exploring. The only thing to do beyond what I showed in this walkthrough is really take time fighting Minotaurs and Cyclops and the tough monsters like that to build up your character. Once you get enough strength to easily fight sea giants, there's really nothing more to do in the game. You're just making more money and killing more monsters. But apart from that, there's really nothing after the end of the game. And I think you can do it much earlier than I did as well. I just wanted to show everything. So sadly, there was never anything subsequent to Pillars of Garendall. I don't think they even had an expansion planned. This was more of a demo of the Coldstone engine that was released. And after a couple years of selling this game, Ambrosia stopped selling it when it became incompatible with macOS X and Beanox stepped out of the picture. So it's kind of just disappeared off into abandonware over the past, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. But prior to that, it had promised the Coldstone engine. There were a couple games that people started to make with it, but it never really went anywhere beyond that. I do like the story. I think it has a nice premise and a good ending. I will stop there, and I'll probably do another video that shows a little bit about building up a character, or at least a little bit about the plugins and the Coldstone engine. But beyond that, there's not too much more to show. Thank you for watching.